Okay, so today is going to be our first day in the computer lab. So what I'd like everyone to do is first you're going to log on to the Windows laptops, and remember the username and password is the same as on your Chromebooks. So you'll put in your student number and then your password. And once you do that, you'll be presented with a screen like this, obviously with fewer icons. The one that we're going to be interested in today is the Autodesk Inventor. It looks like a capital letter I, it's orange. So after you log in, I want you to double click on this. And it's going to take a few seconds for it to load up. And since this is the first time that each of you is going to be using the product, there will probably be a screen asking if you want to start learning or start working. Okay. Now we're going to choose start working. So if that screen comes up, you'll choose start working, and hopefully, yes, so you'll be presented with a screen like this. Now obviously down here it'll be blank. You haven't made anything yet. So you can pause the video here to make sure everyone can log in, start up the program, and if that screen does come up asking if you start learning or start working, choose start working. Okay, hopefully everyone is at this point. So we all have this screen here, and we're going to choose to start a new part. Okay, so that's this button right here. So just click on that once, and again, it'll take a few seconds to load up. It's a large program. And you'll be presented with this kind of blank area here. Now, before we actually start to do anything, I want to make sure everyone will save this file the correct name and in the correct place. So before you even do anything, we're all going to come up here and click on File, and we're going to choose Save As. Okay. All right. Once this comes up, you're going to click on this little arrow here. Okay. So this right here, and you're going to go all the way down to the bottom, and you should see your student account number, and it'll have a letter after it. Okay. Might be U, might be S, but you should see your student account number. So once you find that, I'm just going to go back to my CAD folder, okay, but you'll click on that drive, okay, and then you're going to give your part a name. Okay. So the way that we're going to name these, it's going to be by part name and then your last name. So this part that we're going to make is going to be C6. Okay. Then I put a space, and then I put my last name. And you would save that file. So hopefully everyone is able to click on part to start a new part, and then we made sure to file, save as, and then go to your student account and label it C6 and then your last name. You can pause it here for everyone to catch up. Okay, so we've saved our file. So now whenever we click up here to save, it saves it with the right file name in the right place. Now we can actually start beginning our part. And every single part that we're going to make is going to begin the same way. We're going to start with a 2D sketch. That's this button up here. So I'm going to click on this. Okay. And I'm going to be sketching the top of this object. So if we're looking at it from above, we would choose this plane right here. If you're wondering, this is the XZ plane. So we're going to click on this. And as I mentioned last week, whenever you start a top sketch, it comes in sideways. So we're going to use this little arrow here to rotate it the right way around. Okay. Now we're going to use our rectangle tool. So we're going to click on our rectangle tool. We're going to start at the origin. So remember, that's if you go close to the origin, it'll snap and turn green. Okay, so make sure it turns green. You're going to click once, and you don't have to hold it down, but just click once, and now you can move it around. And this is going to be 1.5 inches by 2 1/4. So I'm going to try to get close to that, and that's close enough. All right, so you can pause again. Everyone should have been able to start a 2D sketch. Pick the XZ plane, rotate the top view so it's facing the correct orientation, and use the rectangle tool to start at the origin and then get somewhat close to 1.5 inches by 2 1/4. Okay, so hopefully everyone's at this point. Now we're going to use our dimension tool. So this dimension tool right here, I'm going to click on it, and now I can click on any edge that I want. So say I wanted to click on this edge. I would click once, and I would move my dimension a little bit off the line so it's easier to read. Okay, so I clicked once, I moved it a little bit, and then I'm going to click a second time, and now it's placed and I can choose my dimensions. So this dimension is going to be 1.5 inches, so 1.5. And I'll click my green check mark. Okay, now I have to dimension this edge right here. So this is, remember, is going to be 2 1/4 inches. So I'm going to click once, and again, move it out so I can see the dimensions, and click a second time, and now I can put in 2 1/4. So 2.25. And I'm going to click my green check mark. Okay. So my sketch is done, and I'm going to choose to finish my sketch. And I'm going to use my zoom all button here to zoom. So hopefully everyone was able to use their dimension tool to make it 1.5 inches by 2 2.25, sorry. And then clicked on the finish sketch. So you can pause here till everyone gets caught up. Okay, so we've made our first sketch. Okay, we now need to extrude it. Okay, so this is going to make this 2D drawing into a 3D shape. So over here, we have the extrude button. So we're going to click on this. It's going to try to guess what we want, and it usually guesses correctly. Okay. Now, again, I can't see everything, so I'm going to come on over here to my zoom all button. Okay, and I'm going to click, and now I can see everything. So the part we're making is only going to be 3/4 of an inch high, not a full inch. So you can change the inch here, or you can change it up here. It's the same dimension. So I'm going to choose 0.75, and you can see what it'll look like. And okay. So hopefully everyone was able to use their extrusion tool, the extrude button, and made it 0.75 inches tall. Okay. At this point, we just need to go up to our save icon right here. So, and now we have our part saved in our student account with the correct file name, and hopefully everyone was able to get to this point. Okay. Now, you probably have some time left over in class, okay, and that's fine. What I'd like you to try to do, and this might sound odd, is to play around with the program. So I'll show you what I mean by that. So I'm going to close out of this, okay, and I'm back to my original screen. So this right here is the new part button. Okay, so I'm going to start a new part, and I'm just going to play around with it. So I'm going to start a sketch, and I'm just going to try to make some random shapes. So I'll choose my XY plane. And I could use my rectangle tool again, or I could try using my line or circle tool. Okay, so I can click once and make a circle. Give that a dimension, say like 0.5. Remember, all of this you're doing, whatever you want to make. I could finish my sketch, and I could extrude it, and I'd have a cylinder. Okay, so that could be one part you make. So I want you to try to play around with the program. Okay, I showed you the fillet last time. So again, if I wanted to say round these corners a little bit, good. Okay, and now it kind of looks like a capsule. Okay. And you can also play around with the materials. So instead of generic, hanging for a second. Okay, there we go. So instead of generic, I could choose, what does it look like it's going to be iron? Okay, or what will this look like if I want to be silver, or heck, even wood? Okay. And you can see what your piece would look like. So after you made the part that's C6 in your last name, then I want you to play around with the program to see what you can make. Okay? So I will see you guys again on Thursday. Okay? So I'll be back and we'll go over some more of the different buttons and different features.